USBM, that is black metal from United States of America, is kind of a thing, and I guess most people in the scene that is following the black metal in general probably are quite aware of that. Now, however, United States being a very, very big country, there are also a lot of bands which don't make their way to the kind of a big audience. One of these bands is a band called Mortum, which we have here. And now don't make this mistake. There are lots of bands with the same name, most of them from the 90s, and at least I could find one band with the same name from the 80s. Now, this is the only one from 2000 something, and quite ironically, this is also the one that has most achieved. Anyway, when it comes to releases and such, probably this band, even though being the newest one, has more releases just by itself than all those other Mortum bands combined. With these words said, let's welcome Atlantean Ouroboros. And that is the new album by the band, that is 2020 release. And this band has released a couple of other albums as well, not to mention smaller releases. One thing which really puzzles me is that this is all self-financed. That is outside the tape versions, which the band has also. There are digital versions, and then there are these CDR versions. And make no mistake, this one is CDR as well, which you can just see from the reflection. As you can see, this one is the so-called burned area, roughly some 43 minutes. But it's Pro CDR, so you really can't make it out, from the label side. And then we have obviously the cover here, or the inlay. Not the inlay, I mean as the backside, but more of the booklet. And there we have this recording information, band email address, and then some band images and some written words, which are not probably that readable. But anyway, there you have it. Let's take a look at the band's Metal Archive site for more information. So we have Mortum. Now, there are other Mortum bands with the same genre, roughly anyway, being black metal, and there are bands with different genre. But we are not going to talk about that, but just this two-man band from the state of New Jersey. It doesn't really specify where it's located, but to be honest, I don't know if that even matters. So 3 lengths, full lengths out, and 2 guys doing this music. And this is something that I think could be described just kind of a modern black metal. First of all, there are parts which are kind of a fast tempo, they're mid-tempo parts. There are these instrumental parts which combine acoustic guitar, synthesizer, and then some samples. So it's actually quite versatile. It's not just repeating one pattern after another and get boring with that. More so, I think this band is incorporating lots of different ideas. It's not exactly the most mainstream of black metal. It's not really radio play friendly black metal, which I guess is kind of a paradox in itself. But it's not really raw or primal or kind of a chaotic primitive black metal either. I think it's somewhere in the middle. So kind of like second wave black metal, but in some ways also a little bit modernized. And here it says by default it's a independent digital version, but if you take a look, you will find these other versions, including this CDR, which says limited edition, which I think is just printed by the bands themselves. For example, I got my copy from the band from New Jersey. Thank you guys, by the way. And as such, this might be rather limited, especially outside United States, in case you want to get the physical copy. Limited to 100 copies. It's not that easy to get this on your collection. Now, about the music once more. I think what makes this album interesting is that they are, once again, not just repeating certain patterns, but having different ideas. And for example, this was more associated in my mind to kind of a German black metal style than anything else. But there are parts which could be just basically anywhere in the world, and that is no bad idea. Now, all this being said, the big question obviously is this worth listening to? Is it really great? and unfortunately it's not really great, but it's definitely worth listening to. I would say this is quite a decent release, kind of a goodie, but still missing some key material which would make it a real gold star winner. Now don't get me wrong, there's nothing basically like fundamentally wrong with this album. There are all the right ingredients in order to make this kind of a, say, middle path black metal. And by middle path I mean it's far away from Dimmu Borgir type of mainstream majesty, but then again also very far from bands like Doctrines and Burzum and, you know, the kind of a roar type. So in a way it's kind of a safe bet for so many black metal beepers because you have those melodies, you have those synths and all that stuff. But when it comes to the production, it's kind of obvious that this band is not signed to a label who is like, hey, I'll pay your studio, because the guitar sound is really rough. And it's not raw like some like early 90s Doctrine. It's not like some of those Ildjarn type really raw black metal, but more kind of like powerless. It's not a big problem, obviously, but it's something that the band could actually improve a lot with. The vocals then again are pretty basic standard in a good way. I mean, there's nothing outstanding, but also nothing like annoying at all. So all this being said, I think Mortum very much stays on the positive side, but it's not a really groundbreaking, mind-blowing album of the year material. With these all being said, obviously you want to tune in for yourself, so click that Bandcamp link and listen for yourself whether or not this is your thing. And in case you want to get the physical product, I guess make haste. This has been already out since the 1st of August 2020, and since it's very limited edition, get your copy as soon as you can. With these words, take care my friends, and see you with more reviews coming your way.